At the birthday party, my fiancée Wendy gave away the house I saved up for, our future home, as a birthday present to her ideal guy, all while saying, "A man can only stand tall with a house of his own." The guy was touched and hugged her, kissing her. I turned and walked away. The house was gone, so no need for a wedding. Then Johnny called me from behind. "Joshua, it's my birthday today. Where's my gift?" Looking at my empty hands, others in the room shot me disdainful glances, whispering about how I was just there for free food and drink. Wendy, embarrassed, scolded me. "Joshua, how rude can you be? Who shows up at a birthday party empty-handed? Go out later and get Johnny a Rolex to apologize." I had just gotten off work when she dragged me to this so-called birthday party, only to watch her give away our house. Before, I might have argued with her, but now I'm just too tired. "Who said I didn't prepare a gift?" I said, taking off my engagement ring and putting it on Johnny's finger. "Here's a ring for you. All the best to you and Wendy." Without hesitation, I left the room. Wendy chased after me and grabbed my wrist. "Joshua, this is going too far. I only see Johnny as a brother. Who are you trying to annoy?" I told her seriously, "It's not about bothering anyone. I just think he deserves the ring more than I do." Wendy snapped, as if Johnny would want a used, cheap ring. "Throw it away if he doesn't like it," I replied. "Fine by me." With a pause, Wendy retorted, "Fine. Don't come asking me to buy you another one later." Then she stormed off. Back when we got engaged, Wendy's parents demanded a dowry of 280,000 yuan and said they wouldn't include anything in return. I didn't care much about these material things, giving her all my savings. My only request was for her to buy me an engagement ring. But Wendy called me materialistic, questioning why a man would need a ring. We had a rare week-long Cold War until she reluctantly went with me to buy a 2,000 yuan pair. I treasured mine, but hers vanished without a trace. Now I realized forced things never truly belong to you. Leaving the hotel, I walked down the sidewalk. A bitter wind hit me, yet I felt none of the cold. Can't be colder than my heart. After a while, Wendy called me. "Joshua, where'd you go? My stomach hurts. If it hurts, take some medicine." Why call me? I thought. Before, I'd drop everything for Wendy, rushing to her side. But now I'm done being the free caretaker. Hanging up, I called my manager. "Leo, does your offer for me to work as a marketing director overseas still stand?" Leo was thrilled. "Of course, Joshua. I've always appreciated your hard work and drive. You'll do great expanding our overseas market." "Thanks, Leo, I won't let you down." I booked a flight overseas for the following week, treated myself to a suit I've been eyeing, and had a nice dinner. My job pays well, but I scrimped and saved for a house. Ironically, right when the dream was in sight, Wendy shattered it. I sat in the mall until it closed, returning home near midnight. Loud music bombarded me as I opened the door. Johnny and his friends were having a lively party in the living room. They smeared cream all over my carefully chosen leather sofa, and trash was everywhere. Every detail was my effort and care, now ruined. Fuming, I turned on the lights. The sudden brightness halted their fun as they looked at me annoyed. I gripped my anger and said, "Get out!" Johnny swaggered over with the deed, taunting. "Joshua, getting forgetful already? Wendy gifted me the house. Did you forget?" His friends chimed in. "Yeah, this is Johnny's place now. We do what we want, whenever we want. Better change the locks, Johnny, so no random folks sneak in." I snatched the deed from Johnny. "Check it. The names on it are Wendy and mine. If you don't leave, I'll report you for trespassing." Johnny was momentarily embarrassed but quickly retorted, "Joshua, stop acting proud. Wendy promised to transfer the house to me tomorrow. This house belongs to Wendy and me. Both need to sign to transfer ownership." "I don't agree." Furious, Johnny called Wendy, who arrived minutes later. Johnny immediately played the victim. "Wendy, you promised this house to me. Joshua's threatening us with trespassing charges." Wendy frowned, dragging me aside. "Joshua, I gave this house to Johnny. You're causing a scene. Come on, let's leave." I shook off her hand. "Wendy, the house was bought with my money. What right do you have to give it away?" Feeling humiliated, Wendy raised her voice. Joshua, are you picking a fight? So, about that 500,000 I lent to your adoptive parents, why didn't you bring it up? Johnny and his crew looked shocked. Oh my God. That's just being a mooch. Who nowadays lets a guy just use a woman's money like that? Wendy must have a saint's patience to put up with this freeloading guy. Whoever marries someone like that is in for bad luck. Their words made my face flush, and a deep sense of self-doubt hit me hard. I grew up in an orphanage and was adopted. When my adoptive parents found out I was dating a wealthy girl, they asked Wendy for a loan of 500,000, which always made me insecure around her. I thought Wendy understood me, but now she's just exposing my embarrassment to everyone. Trying to keep my cool, I pulled out a note with the calculations I made during dinner. When we bought the house, I put in 630,000. Subtract the 500,000 my adoptive parents took. You owe me 130,000. From now on, this house is yours alone. Wendy was shocked as she looked at the notes. She didn't expect me to pull something like this. Joshua, I thought you were different from others, but it turns out you're just as petty. I chuckled. Wendy, since you're so generous, just pay me back the 130,000. Okay? My words stirred her up, and she immediately transferred 130,000 to me on her phone. After I accepted it, I said, "See you at the land office tomorrow at 8 a.m. With teeth clenched, Wendy replied, "All right, Joshua, just wait. You'll be crawling back to me crying soon." Johnny, looking pleased, chimed in, "We'll be there on time." After leaving the neighborhood, I checked into a hotel to rest. Seeing the 130,000 balance in my bank account, I couldn't shake off the sadness. That's when Johnny sent me a voice recording. In the recording, Johnny mockingly asked, "Wendy, what did you see in that poor kid Joshua? No looks, no build." Wendy's laugh came through, just having some fun. Poor students like him, struggling to eat, but clinging to their sad pride. Isn't it fun to mess with them? But I really am getting tired of him. He fusses over everything. Johnny's exaggerated laughter echoed in the recording. So, right from the start, she was just toying with me. I first met Wendy in my sophomore year. When I got into college, my adoptive parents didn't want to spend on my tuition or any expenses. I worked 2 part-time jobs, always choosing the cheapest meals in the dining hall. Exhaustion and poor nutrition caught up to me, and I fainted in gym class. Wendy and some classmates got me to the campus clinic. From then on, she was part of my life. She pretended to send money to my meal plan accidentally and started having me join her for meals. She'd give me the good parts of the food, helping me back to health. Eventually, she confessed her feelings towards me, but I hesitated, fearing my background wasn't good enough. Slowly, she broke through my defenses and into my heart. I had thought she was my salvation. Now, I realized that 5 years of my youth and all my love were misplaced. The next morning, I got up early. To hide my tired appearance from Wendy and Johnny, I styled my hair and wore a new suit. I looked sharp. Wendy was even taken aback when she first saw me. Johnny, a bit sour-tempered, observed, "Joshua, that suit must have set you back 2,600. Did you spend the 130,000 you got from Wendy?" Wendy frowned. "Joshua, weren't you always the frugal one? What made you buy such an expensive suit?" I responded with a soft smile. "Firstly, the 130,000 yesterday was a refund, my own money. Secondly, I don't need permission to buy what I want. I used to save up for a house and a future with Wendy. But now, I don't have a house or a partner to share it with, so why should I be stingy?" Johnny rolled his eyes at me and clung to Wendy's arm. "Come on, Wendy, let's go in. One's my lucky number, and today, I want to be the first to transfer a house." Wendy stood still, glancing back at me, and finally asked, "Joshua, is there anything you want to say?" I just smiled. "I wish you all the best. Hope Johnny loves the new house." Wendy's expression darkened. "All right, but don't regret it." The property signed over smoothly, and Johnny happily left the land office, title deed in hand. At least it's all wrapped up now. As I was about to go, Wendy called out to me. "You know, the bridal shop called yesterday. They want us to pick our wedding photos today. Since you dressed up so nicely today to win me over, I'll let you come along." I turned back, giving her a look as if she's lost it. Wendy, the wedding house is gone. Why would I marry you? Wendy looked momentarily flustered, asking Joshua, what do you mean? I clearly stated we're breaking up. The wedding is off. Did you get that? Joshua, are you kidding me? The wedding's next week. Everything's already set, and now you're calling it off? All I asked was to call off the wedding. Considering you gave away the wedding house last minute, my little request is nothing. I turned to Johnny. If needed, just switch grooms too. Johnny, you've got the house and the ring. Naturally, you can marry her. Holding the title deed, Johnny eagerly told Wendy, I'm with you all the way. Wendy sounded serious. Joshua, haven't I told you that I always see Johnny as my little brother? He's all alone with no one to rely on. Who knows how long it'll take him to buy his own place if he has to do it on his own. As his older sister, I'm just helping him out a bit. Why are you always so jealous for no reason? Wendy has told me more than once that Johnny was orphaned at a young age and has been staying with his uncle's family. It's really sad, and she asked me to be more understanding of her situation. I argued back, saying just because Johnny is unfortunate, does that mean he gets to depend on you and you just hand him a house? What about me? Am I not unfortunate too? What have you ever given me? Wendy confidently replied, you have me. Don't you? I'm here with you. Isn't that enough? Geez, she's really full of herself. I didn't want to argue with her anymore, so I turned and walked away. That night, I posted on my social media expressing that things were over between me and Wendy, and our wedding was off. A lot of college friends expressed their regret, saying we were once so in love, that we were a couple from campus to wedding vows. Yeah, if I hadn't heard those recordings, I would have believed that we were genuinely in love. But now I know it was all a facade. Not long after I posted, Wendy called me. Joshua, who gave you the right to unilaterally call off the wedding? Our wedding is not canceled. In a cold voice, I replied, whether or not you call off the wedding is your business. But I won't be there. Wendy, we're even now. Wendy, unwilling to give up, asked again, Joshua, are you really breaking up with me over a house? That's right, just because of a house. Maybe Wendy will never understand that it's not just a house to me. It's about having a home. Hearing the determination in my voice, she sounded like she was compromising, saying, fine, we can buy another house. We'll save for a couple more years and pay a down payment. How's that? Thinking about these past 2 years, I didn't buy a single new piece of clothing. Even when I was starving outside, I'd go home to cook, just to save money. Every time I thought about getting closer to that dream house, I felt motivated, even if things were tough. But just because of her words, the house was given to Johnny, her true love. Now she casually tells me to save for another 2 years. And then what? Take on a mortgage and save for another 30 years? What am I, a fool meant to be by her side, suffering? Wendy, a house was my dream, but I no longer want it with you. Right after hanging up with Wendy, my adoptive parents called, scolding me without any mercy. The gist of it was, now that I've canceled the wedding, they won't return the money they borrowed from Wendy. I'll have to figure out how to pay it back myself. I wasn't surprised by this outcome. From the moment they got the money, they spent it all on my brother's investments. I never planned on getting it back, but I did have a final use for that money. I told them I'd come by the next day to discuss what to do. That night, Wendy sent me hundreds of messages. From initially ordering me not to cancel the wedding to later pleading with me. I didn't even finish reading before blocking her. The next day, I brought along a pre-prepared agreement and went home. My adoptive parents and brother all looked at me with disdain, as if my presence polluted the place. Eventually, my adoptive mother spoke first. Joshua, you were in a good relationship. It was heading towards marriage. What happened? I looked at them calmly. They want $288,000 in bride price and for you to repay the $500,000 borrowed. Otherwise, they won't let their daughter marry me. Mother shook her head repeatedly. That's impossible. From the moment we adopted you, we've been feeding you, giving you an education. We've spent quite a bit on you, so there isn't any extra money for bride price. I laughed inside. She's not afraid of being struck by lightning, saying such things. Father banged the table. Then don't marry. There's no shortage of bachelors finding wives these days. Wendy's parents said if there's no marriage, you'll have to return the $500,000 to their family. Hearing this, my brother, who'd been playing games, suddenly panicked. No, that's not possible. I've already invested that money with my friends. I definitely can't get it back anytime soon. I pretended to be troubled. What should we do? Then, if you don't pay up, they said they'd call the cops on you for fraud. Mother said, fraud? No way, haven't you been with their daughter for years? Hearing her words made me incredibly uncomfortable. I didn't want to continue playing games with them anymore. There is another way, I said, which is for me to sever all ties. I'll take on the $500,000 debt alone. This way, even if they report it, they'll only come after me. Hearing this, the three of them instantly lit up, agreeing that it was a great idea. I took out the severance agreement, and they didn't hesitate to sign. After signing, I was about to leave when my mother said she made plenty of food and wanted me to stay for lunch. Thinking this might be our last family meal together, I agreed. With their burden offloaded, my adoptive mother went to cook, my adoptive father watched his spy movies, and my brother continued gaming. Felt like I was the only extra person there. I pushed open the bathroom door. The small foldable bed I used to sleep on was gone. Our home had 2 bedrooms and a living room. One bedroom was for my parents, the other for my brother. When I was first adopted, one room was mine. But after my brother was born, my room became a foldable bed that moved from the living room to the bathroom. I slept wherever it was placed. They've never really treated me as family, leaving me feeling like I didn't belong. That's why I wanted to start a family with Wendy. I wanted a real home of my own. Mother did prepare a lot of dishes. It's funny how the whole table was full of dishes my brother loved. Not a single thing I liked. I ate like I was chewing wax, swallowing the food, and then I was out of the neighborhood, feeling like a walking corpse. I never expected to see Wendy rushing over at the gate. She handed me a tissue, looking all concerned. That's when I realized I was crying. No wonder my face felt cold. Every time you come back here, you're upset for ages. Why do you still come back? I took the tissue, wiped my tears, and steadied myself. Because I need to tell them I'm canceling the wedding with you. Wendy froze. Joshua, I said I'd work with you to buy a new house. Why can't you let this go? I walked out, expressionless. Because I'm not in love with you anymore. Is that reason enough? No, I don't believe you. You used to love me so much. This can't just end out of nowhere. Believe whatever you want. Just then, Wendy's phone rang. Johnny's name popped up on the caller ID. After hesitating, she picked up. Johnny, didn't I say to call me less often? Johnny's voice sounded pained. Wendy, I twisted my ankle coming downstairs and fell. Wendy sounded worried. Where did you fall? I'm coming. She got Johnny's address and looked at me apologetically from her car window. Joshua, Johnny twisted his ankle. I'll take him to the hospital and come back for you. I smiled faintly and nodded. Go ahead. Don't keep him waiting. Twisted ankles hurt a lot. With my blessing, Wendy seemed relieved. I'll be back soon. Wait for me. Her car sped off into the traffic like an arrow. I'd seen this scene many times. No matter when or where, Johnny could always summon her with a call. She wouldn't come back. Actually, Wendy was wrong. I didn't just suddenly stop loving her. My love had already faded from waiting and disappointment time after time. Sure enough, not long after, I saw Johnny's post on his feed. Wendy once told me whenever I needed her, she'd be there. She's never broken her word. The picture showed Wendy feeding him porridge. Below that was yesterday's post. She said a man only stands tall with a house, so she gave me one. Feeling happy. And her post about Disney, a trip she wanted for a long time. These posts caused many arguments between us. Now, I liked every one of his posts. Even after getting back to the hotel, my night routine done, Wendy finally remembered me and called. Her voice was tired. Joshua, I'm here to pick you up. Where are you? No need, I'm already back. Wendy sounded a bit annoyed. You left without telling me. Had me running all over. Do you know how tired I am today? I mocked lightly. Wendy, do you think I'm stupid? Look at the time. Why'd you think I'd wait? I used to be dumb. On a rare holiday, Wendy and I planned a hike. Halfway up, Johnny called her away. She told me to wait for her. I climbed to the top, waited from sunup to moonrise. I knew then, deep down, she wouldn't come, but I stubbornly continued to wait. I just wanted to see if she'd remember me. She did, finally, and her first words were scolding, "Joshua, are you an idiot? Didn't come back when I didn't show? You're just standing there for show?" Wendy remembered too. Her voice softened. "Sorry, Joshua. I promise I won't leave you again. Your apology means nothing." For days, Wendy called me or waited downstairs at work, but most times she'd leave when Johnny called, then call me to apologize. This cycle repeated until the day before our wedding. Wendy looked at me seriously. "Joshua, Johnny is being discharged today. You know he has no family. Only I can do this for him. But I promise this is the last time. Once we're married, I'll keep my distance." What made Wendy think my indifference lately, the breakup and wedding cancellation, was just me being angry that I'd show up on our wedding day. I was done explaining. After she left, I packed. Coincidentally, I was scheduled to fly out with the team the same day. She'd see I wasn't bluffing. The next morning, I met up with colleagues at the airport. Before boarding, I checked Wendy's messages. "Joshua, the fleet's a no-show. Joshua, the dresser said you didn't pick up the car today. Joshua, it's our wedding day. Where are you?" I sent her my location at the airport and boarded, turning off my phone. The thought of Wendy in a panic lifted my spirits. Looking out at the clear skies, I knew a new life awaited. When I returned, it was 6 months later. Now the overseas marketing director, I came back to report on our success. Job done. Stepping out of the company, I saw Wendy waiting. She wasn't the vibrant woman I used to know. Her face was worn with age. The moment she saw me, she couldn't help rushing forward and hugging me tightly. "Joshua," she said, "where have you been these past 6 months? I've looked everywhere for you and couldn't find you." I had heard from the main office that Wendy was trying to find me, but I had already told them to keep my whereabouts a secret. Wendy's act of giving the wedding house to another man didn't sit well with them either, and they all turned their backs on her. After hitting several brick walls, Wendy had stopped coming. I thought she'd given up by now. I placed my hand on her shoulder and pushed her away, looking at her with a critical eye. In hindsight, my taste back then was pretty poor. Loving such a lousy person to the point of losing myself was just pathetic. My voice was distant and cold. "Wendy, what are you looking for me for? I'm pretty sure I made things clear a while ago." Wendy, visibly emotional, said, "Joshua, let me take you somewhere. Once we arrive, I'm sure you'll forgive me." "Sorry, my time is valuable. I don't have time to waste with you," I said. As I turned to leave, Wendy grabbed my wrist and pushed me into the back seat of a car, locking the doors deftly. I was about to call the cops when Wendy pleaded with me, "Joshua, please, just come with me to this place. I promise if you still can't forgive me after you've seen it, I won't bother you ever again." Driven by some kind of curiosity, I put down my phone. I wondered where this place was that she was so confident about. The route we took grew more and more familiar. Eventually, we stopped below the building of our old wedding home. I had a vague premonition then. Wendy took me upstairs and stopped at the door of our former wedding home. She opened the door with a key. Inside, the decor had returned to how I originally set it up. Plain fabric sofas, a bouquet of tulips on the table. Even the once broken ornaments by Johnny and others were replaced exactly as before. Wendy pulled out a bright red property certificate and opened it. It clearly had both our names on it with a change date from 3 months ago. She handed it to me, earnestly saying, "Joshua, I was wrong before. Johnny and I grew up together. He lost his parents young, and everyone around always told me to protect and care for him. It became an obsession over time. But during these past 6 months without you, I realized you are the most important man to me. I love you. I've taken back the house, hoping to end the conflict caused by it with the house itself." Her words were well-spoken and moving, but they were only convincing to the old me. The current me didn't need that anymore. I pulled out my own apartment key and waved it in front of her. "I don't need to rely on anyone now. I can achieve what I want on my own." Expanding the market in a new city over the past 6 months was tough, but the payoff was worth it. My salary doubled, and with that and the 130,000 yuan I had saved up, I was able to put a down payment on a 60 square meter studio apartment. It wasn't big or in a fancy location, but it was enough for me. It's truly my own home. Wendy stared at my keys, speechless, and after a long pause, with tears welling up, she asked, "Joshua, is there really no chance for us anymore?" Without hesitation, I said, "No chance." Tears rolled down her cheeks. I knew she was giving up for real this time. Confidently reclaiming the wedding house from Johnny and setting it up again didn't win my forgiveness. My new apartment proved to be a harsh reality check. I turned and walked away, feeling no obligation to comfort her. Downstairs, I ran into Johnny. His eyes were filled with bitterness as he said, "Joshua, you must be really pleased with yourself now. You think you've won?" I never took him seriously before, and I certainly wouldn't now. Ignoring him, I kept walking away. Johnny taunted from behind, "Joshua, let me tell you, Wendy is having my baby. She will belong to me for sure." I just smiled nonchalantly, and the words of blessing came out easily. "I wish the three of you a happy and blissful family life." This trip back was full of challenges. After sorting things out with Wendy, my adoptive parents stormed into my workplace next. It turned out my brother lost 500,000 yuan on a failed investment and then got scammed abroad. They scraped together 700,000 yuan by emptying their savings and selling their old apartment, but still needed 300,000 yuan more, and they wanted it from me. I reported them to the authorities. They then tried to gain sympathy online, manipulating my sense of duty as a son. I posted a copy of the agreement we signed severing ties, along with a detailed piece about my life as an adopted child. The response was overwhelming, as many orphans resonated with my experience. I hadn't realized so many shared my story. We supported each other online, using my story as inspiration. We can't choose our birth or parents, but through our effort and resilience, we can create our own future. My adoptive parents failed to guilt-trip me out of any money and were instead bombarded online. They vanished from sight. Eventually, they managed to scrape together 1,000,000 yuan but couldn't bring my brother back. Losing their son in old age led to a mental breakdown and their eventual suicide. After hearing the news, I took a day off. I went back to handle the burial of their remains. 5 years later, I had moved up to the position of vice president in the company. I was transferred back to the main office. The company had a charity event to help kids with heart disease recover. I was there as a representative. I didn't expect to see Wendy there. She was holding a frail little boy, applying for the company's charity support. That's when I found out Johnny had drugged her to get Wendy pregnant. They got married because of the baby. Due to the drugs, the baby's development was incomplete in the womb. He was born with a severe heart condition. They spent all their money on his treatment. Johnny ended up leaving. Since we were once acquaintances, I spoke to the people in charge. Wendy's kid got approved for the charity support. After the event, I left in a company car. Wendy ran after me with her child to thank me. I just waved it off. Later, a co-worker asked why I didn't use the chance to get back at her, to settle the score from back then. I told them it wasn't necessary. We started on the same line, but years later, when we met again, I was at the peak of my life. She was just a face in the crowd, taking my help. That made her suffer more than any revenge ever could.